So I had to sign in front of the fiscal and swear to my counter affidavit on the cyber libel case. The filing of this will be tomorrow, along with the board of directors of Rappler. Right? In the past, I've called the case ludicrous. Now let me add the word ridiculous. This is a case that was filed. First, the article itself was written before the law was actually passed, right? So it's prescribed already. Number one, the NBI itself, its legal team has actually already said that there is no case, and yet here we are at the Department of Justice, right? Any article that you've written, and this particular article itself is protected under the Constitution. It's protected under the freedom of the press, the freedom of expression, and the freedom of information. Yun. If you were here for the earlier part of today, right, the BIR, there was another case. Our lawyers came in, and I'll be coming back on May 7th. But, you know, I try to keep it one harassment suit a day. So, nice to see you guys.
Ma'am, a little bit left side, ma'am. Kunting left side
Dito.
lang, ma'am. Dito, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Which one?
But have you officially submitted your counter affidavit?
No, we'll officially submit it tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Ma'am, labas na ako.
Sure, sure. Pwede?
Thank you po, thank you po.
So the reason I had to file earlier today is tomorrow I'll be at the Reporters Sans Frontier. So let's talk press freedom. You know, I'm president of the jury for the UNESCO the World Press Freedom Prize that was just announced last night. A man named Shao Kahn, an Egyptian photojournalist who's been in prison for 5 years and who was just actually sentenced to death. He won the World Press Freedom Prize today. That's a prize of $25,000. Tomorrow, I'll be in Seoul with the Reporters Without Borders. We'll be talking about the report that they'll be coming out with on the state of press freedom globally. And as you can see, here we are at the Department of Justice, and all I've done is be a journalist.
So tomorrow, ma'am, for the affidavit to be officially submitted, it will be taken care of by your legal counsel.
Our legal counsel will be here. So what will happen tomorrow is all 7, if you know here, all of our board of directors were subpoenaed. And I guess I appeal to the men and women at the Department of Justice, the good men and women who are here. They should be doing the due diligence so that they don't publicly malign anyone or subject innocent people to public trials without any due process, right? So I'm glad to go through this process and hopefully have nuisance cases, harassment suits dropped.
So basically, ma'am, you're asking the DOJ to dismiss the cyber libel charges against you.
Actually, you will see in our arguments and in my counter affidavit, I've actually laid out a few of the ones that are there, but there's no basis for this charge. The continuing charge of cyber libel, that if any of our websites publishes something once, that it could continue, that you could have multiple counts of libel against it, that is groundbreaking. It's breaking the law. Actually, it's stretching law to the point that it breaks. And it will have an impact on anyone who publishes anything online. So if you look at the charges, again, the NBI itself has already said, its legal team has said that there's no basis for this case. My question is, why am I here? And I go back. I think that what we're doing is standing for the right to report facts the way we see it. It is a freedom of the press, a freedom of expression, and a freedom of information issue. Okay na? Okay na, no? So,
sa tax evasion case,
sure.
wala kayo?
Yeah, it's a tax evasion case. What would you like? The tax evasion case, which adjective will I use again? I've already used ludicrous. I've already used ridiculous. The tax evasion case assumes that Rappler Holdings is a dealer in securities. Yes? Oh.
Someone's just asking your name.
Oh, okay. So we're not a dealer in securities. This means anyone, ABS-CBN, GMA7, you guys have issued PDRs, right? Anyone who issues securities could be subjected to these same taxes. Anyone who buys securities. Again, this is a ridiculous execution of the law, and I'm assuming that coherent, critical thinking minds are going to come in and go through. Having said that, at the BIR case this morning, our lawyers are there. You'll see me back here to swear to my counter affidavit on May 7th.
Are you still surprised that the NBI pursued the case against them for cyber libel, even after they initially said that there's no case and it was filed out of time?
See, he's smiling. Eh? Am I surprised? It's shocking, always shocking, because the Philippines stands for, our democracy is very vibrant, and I wouldn't have expected this kind of a witch hunt. Having said that, you know, I've stated from the very beginning the cases against Rappler are political in nature. We continue to abide by the highest standards of journalism, and what we've seen is part of a global trend, right? It wasn't President Duterte who first used the term fake news. It was President Trump. So I worry about the state of journalism. I've just come back from some international conferences at the Commonwealth Forum where we talked about the state of journalism, at the International Journalism Festival in Perugia last week. There is a rollback, and tomorrow you will get the report from Reporters Without Borders about the state of journalism. And what we've seen is this kind of rising use of cheap armies on social media to actually stifle freedom of the press, to stifle voices that are deemed to be critical. You know, reporting what someone said is not being critical. Holding government to account is not being critical. It's called doing our jobs. So I appeal to government. We've been here for decades. I've been here for decades. Not that I'm old, but we want to do our jobs. And in doing our jobs, we help you do your jobs better. You want to have that kind of due diligence. You want to have that kind of debate in the public space. This makes our democracy more vibrant. I hope that these cases go away. The harassment that we're getting is unprecedented. I've never lived through anything like this in the decades I've been a journalist here and in other parts of the world. So I say we stay steadfast. We keep doing our jobs and keep telling power when they move a line. We have to hold the line.